Okay, let's try this again. So this is a review of MisJif's Nami game against a Vayne Lux game. I'm just gonna go over the first 15 minutes of this game, mostly because I don't want to watch myself fuck up on Annie over and over and over again once we start grouping, um, and because the post laning stuff is highly situational. It's hard to make good improvement in the post laning phase, at least in my opinion. Plus, I think you can win almost every game by 20 minutes if you play well enough. Also, I'd like to point out that I'm by no means a high elo player, and some of the things I'm going to point out in this review may be straight up wrong. Plus, a lot of the mistakes that you're making in this game and that I'm going to point out are mistakes that I make myself in my own games. So, I really shouldn't be sitting up here on my high pedestal. Getting into the review, Jif fucks up your level 1 by being AFK, and so you miss one minion, so they're going to get level 2 before you almost for sure. Plus they have a 4 minion lead on you, so the fact they're just going to get level 2 before you. However, you probably should have placed your trinket in here. I think if you'd played a little bit more aggressively, they wouldn't have been able to shove the next wave into your tower, which meant you would have spent probably 4 or 5, a fair number of waves just sitting right here, because if Jif was playing well, I probably would have frozen it here. However, you played it out pretty passively, so Jif didn't have the ability to freeze it, because he had to back off the wave a little bit more than he probably wanted to. So it ends up crashing into your tower and resetting, which means you have to be pushed out. But this is all off on a tangent. Anyways, you should have put a trinket ward in here. If this Lux had been better, she was pretty bad. She would have stood in this bit of fog of war and used it to to constantly throw out harass onto you guys, which you wouldn't be able to respond to very well, because she would have just been able to retreat into the fog of war, and you wouldn't have been able to use your ebb and flow on him, and Jif wouldn't have been able to use his autos. So we're gonna let this play out. Again, you're playing fairly far back right now. I'm sure you've seen lots of videos on bottom lane positioning, so I'm just going to go over this real quick, but there's sort of 3 positions that you can be in as a support in the lane. Either in line with your AD carry, which is where you want to be probably 50 to 80% of the time, and this is sort of just a neutral lane. Again, this is you're not really feeling ahead. You're not feeling like you're gonna get fucked. You can be ahead of your AD carry. Normally, this would actually be about where Jif is right now, in line with your melee creeps, and Jif would be back in line with his with the mage creeps. But the other option is in front of your AD carry. You're only going to use this when you think you can 1v2. So if you're not feeling good about facing up against Vayne, you don't need to go into this aggressive in front of your AD carry position. And then the other option, the one you're using right now, is behind your AD carry. It's not very good on Nami. I'm just going to say straight up. The only times you should be standing way behind your AD carry is when you're on like 0 health and for some reason you can't back. Otherwise, you should be in the very least in line with your AD carry. The only supports that work real well standing way back here are things like Janna and Soraka that have amazing utility when they're AFK under tower. Nami is not one of those supports. Her ebb and flow isn't that strong when you're not using it as pressure by yourself. So we're just going to let this run out a little bit. So again, we're seeing Vayne is sort of taking advantage of this brush to break. Not so much here, it's a bit more later. Again, if I was this Lux, I would be sitting up here right now, because Jif is able to take advantage of the fact that she's standing way over here to stand here and sort of safely CS, because you're so far back. However, had you been a little bit farther forward, he probably could have been standing a bit more centrally. Plus, he would have had more opportunities to auto these minions, so it's less likely that they would smash this wave into your tower and get it to reset. Another thing you could have done to prevent this, because you didn't auto at all yet, is you could have been autoing these mage creeps or the melee creeps that aren't very low health, and it just makes the wave die a little bit faster. You spend less time on level 1, like down that level. It's the best when you're working with an AD carry that you know, so you can tell them that you're not trying to steal their minions. It doesn't work really well in solo queue especially in low bronze, because AD carries are bad and they get tilted if you auto the minions, even though they're gonna miss the minion themselves because they suck at CS. So we let this go out. Again, right now you might be able to trade onto this Vayne. Like Lux is, I don't know where the Lux is. Let's all do Fog of War. Like Lux is way off in the middle of fucking nowhere, so you're basically 2v1. You could be trading onto the Vayne. This is maybe what I would do, but I'm bad. Standing back definitely isn't a terrible idea. But you maybe should be considering it. We're just gonna let this play out. Again, there's no reason right now for you to be way behind this tower. You want to be up here. The enemy can't trade onto you very easily because you have tower. I mean, yes, Lux can throw out her E's, but if you were up here, Lux would have thrown out her E and hit you anyways, and being back there didn't save you from her E. And by being up here, you are creating space for Jif, because Jif he's in a rough spot. He really can't CS safely because this Vayne and Lux can both trade onto him freely, and you're not in a position to do anything about it. And you can tell they're doing it. They're just screwing him up. So again, see, because you don't have a ward in this bush, this Lux is able to walk beside it. I don't think she actually goes in here, but in the future this Vayne is going to walk up and stand in this, sort of jump in and out of this brush, and there's nothing you can do about this, because if you try to go aggro, she's just going to step back into the brush and you won't be able to see her. So now you're back at level 2, so you can start looking for the to be a little bit more aggressive onto them, because they don't have that level advantage. If they get too hot up in your stuff, you can bubble them. So instead of Wing Jif there, because he's not at full health, but he's still fairly low, you should have been looking to move up in this lane, take control of this brush, because this Lux is just AFKing up on the top side of the lane, and look to auto onto Vayne. I noticed in this lane you didn't trade particularly optimally with Nami. The perfect combo is the auto. Oh god, that was terrible. Can I undo that? No. Okay, we gotta get rid of all of it. It's auto, W, auto, and that's your perfect trade, right? Because you could cancel this auto attack with the or cancel the animation of this auto attack with the W, and then you can cancel some of the W animation with the second auto attack. And this does a lot of damage. If you can get this combo down, I think this combo alone can get you to gold, if you don't play dumb. However, I can't even do the... I usually fail to get this auto in. If you're going to try practicing this combo, definitely do it in normals and not in ranked, because it's not the easiest combo. But even if you just cancel out this auto right here, and you walk up, and you W their AD carry, and then you auto them, unless they're running away at you full tilt, you're going to get this W to bounce back onto you. So if they auto you, you heal up for that auto damage because your W is broken. And then you get this auto in, and you can usually do a fair amount of damage and then back off from the trade. If you're really feeling confident, you can extend this W auto combo by using your E. If you use E before this auto ends, you still get the E proc on this auto. Which is just disgusting. And then of course, once you've cast E, you want to auto again. At this point, they're definitely slow, even if you did miss getting the E on this auto. And once they're slowed, you're looking to Q, because Qs onto slowed targets are super easy, and then auto. And at this point, you get plus 300 G. Because if they don't die, your AD carry is garbage. And you should just AFK. But everything sort of past here, all of this is super situational. You're not going to get this off even every game. Your enemy AD carry really has to be monkeying about for you to be able to get all of this stuff off. But it's an option if you want to take a bit longer trade. I find that if I go for this EA QA combo, I either I'm dead before I get to use Q, or basically dead, or they just run away from me, so I don't get to use all this, and using E is a waste of mana. So I usually just stick with this part of the combo and don't bother with any of this. But if you're really feeling confident, you can do that. So after that, reflex and then trading. Again, see, this Vayne's can sit here and trade with impunity onto Jif, and there's nothing you can do about it because you can't see her. Right? If you walk up, you can't see her. Against really good AD carries, you're not going to see this maybe in bronze, but even by mid-silver, you're starting to see it. They know that if they step out of the brush and auto, and then step back into the brush, it doesn't show them as if they'd autoed in the brush, and they can immediately drop minion aggro, which makes trading really difficult. Or, well, it helps you trade a lot. So again, you have your trinket ward up. This you know this Vayne is just repeatedly fucking you up by stepping into this brush. You should be trinketing this brush. It just denies what she's doing right now. It's super hard. And there you go, trinket. You should have done it sooner. So you die here. You could have known that she was going to be level 3 just based off the fact that Lux is level 3 and they're both going to level up at the same time. And once you hit level 3, you do have to be careful that you're not standing in your walls because Vayne. Also, Lux is about and it's the only reason this trade didn't turn out worse. Landed that. If she landed that Q on you, Jif probably wouldn't have went in because you would have died sooner. So maybe it's good that Lux is a monk. So we just sit here, fast forward for a bit. Dead. This was super unlucky for you because you were only able to get Fairy Charm and upgrade your penalties. Down, you come, you're fine standing where you are. If I'm Lux, I'm playing a little bit farther forward to try to push you off this wave, but this Lux is very good. So we're just going to keep fast forwarding, although, yeah, just keep fast forwarding. While you're sitting under tower like that, you can consider moving up a little bit to try to deny this Lux XP, but it's risky. I don't know if I'd recommend doing that. So again, you're playing pretty far back right now. Like, this Vayne is AFK. You know, no, she's probably backed. Like, that's the only logical thing for her to do. And you've got this Lux just dicking around here for no reason. You should be up in line with these caster minions because that forces Lux back. She can't be sitting here leeching XP for free, like she's doing right now, and getting free trades onto you. Like, if I'm you right now, I'm looking to like kill this Lux. She shouldn't be here. She has no Vayne. You have an AD carry. Even though she has a level advantage, that's it. You should be playing aggressively on this. And you probably wouldn't have gotten a kill, but you could have definitely done it. So go Lux backs. We know this or we don't know this, but we can assume this based off the fact that she's been gone for long enough. And this Vayne comes back to lane. If we check items again, this Vayne's got a massive advantage right now. She's got BF and Doran's Blade to your BF call. So it's going, once this Lux comes back, you're gonna have to play super bitches because you're just never gonna win any trades. However, until this Lux comes back, this Vayne shouldn't be allowed to CS. Even with a BF sword up, unless this Vayne is godlike, she's not going to be able to get out trade the two of you. So if we play this out, you sort of play aggressively here, and if we're being serious, Jif probably should have been a bit farther up to support you. However, I don't blame Jif for being a little bit more passive because you've been playing really passive all game. However, you don't want to be letting this Vayne CS right now. Like, she shouldn't be allowed to get this minion. It's, you've got the 2v1 advantage. So we let this play out. I'm going to slow it down so I can do this because you're going to fuck up. So again, you backed off from this Vayne right here. Jif has moved up. If she does trade with you, you can use your W on her. You shouldn't use W on yourself. You should use W on her, and you can auto her, and you win that trade. Or at the very least, you go equal, and because you have more sustain, going equal in a trade with her is acceptable. So again, here you're doing what you probably should have been doing 30 seconds ago. As soon as this Vayne came back to the lane, you should be imposing yourself between her and your minions to deny her CS. Unfortunately, I don't think any of your CS is going to die before it pushes into probably about here. But you can do this, and then again, when you walk up to the Vayne like this, you either have to walk away before you're this close, or you have to trade with her. Because what we're going to see here is she just autos you, and you take free damage. Right? So you have to. It looks really indecisive. Like you're not really sure if you want to be trading. I'm pretty sure at this point Jif's flaming you for not being aggressive and giving him space, which is I suspect why you're playing up like this. But when you're playing up like this, you're saying I want to trade with you, and as soon as she walked up to trade with you, you just walked away. So you need to be trading onto her. Again, Nami, one of her big advantages is she's really brutal with her trades. You can, in cases like this where she's walking up and you even have a little bit of time to prepare, you can sometimes get away with using your E beforehand and then W autoing for a little bit of extra damage. Or E auto, W auto, but that's a hard combo. I don't do it. But yeah, you should be trading with this Vayne, and that, right? This is what Jif is talking about free damage. And again, you're standing so close to Vayne. You're within her range, and you're not trading with her. Like, there's no Lux here. It's a 2v1. You can trade super easily. And like, you're playing equal with Jif right now. You should be playing ahead. At least I want to be at least in line with these minions, especially seeing as this cannon is so low. The reason the cannon being low is important is if you walk up to trade with Vayne right now, she has to choose between trading with you or losing this cannon. Because while you trade with her, this cannon's going to die. So she either just takes free damage from you and takes the cannon, or she trades with you and loses the cannon. Another small thing is you're really close to this wall. You shouldn't be this close. Brush control, as I was mentioning how I would be over here, I would be in this brush right now. Again, when you're in 2v1s, when you're feeling aggressively, I don't like being on this part of the lane at all. I like being over here. It gives you more time if the jungler comes in. So you can run away if you have to. It also gives you this brush to hide in, because yes, you're still up close against the wall where you're in this brush, but Vayne can't see you to condemn you. So you can easily walk forward to say here, trade on her, right? W auto, and then walk back into the brush. You lose this minion aggro, even though they've got a fairly small wave, and she can't follow up on you because she can't see you because of Fuck of War. Go back to mouse. Anyways, if you hadn't taken all that free damage from the Vayne earlier, you should have used your W first on her, because it would have bounced back to you anyways, and then tried to squeeze an auto in there. Right? I don't like using W on myself even when I'm at lowish health, just because you lose a fair bit of damage, and you want to be ready. So now at this point, this Lux is back. If we go back to base for instance, if we check, she didn't get any items, right? She just got Sightstone, which gives her health, so it makes it harder to kill her, but doesn't really make her much of a better trader. And then otherwise she's the same as you with her Spell Thieves plus Fairy Charm. However, Vayne's got her BF sword, so you really shouldn't be looking for straight up trades. If you can get like free damage on them, look for it. But at this point, you're safe to play, it's justified to play fairly safe. right? So you're playing either in line with your AD carry or maybe a little bit farther back, right? Sort of in this range. Although, not really. I don't like being behind my AD carry. The AD carry is the baby here. You want to be up in the lane, showing them who's boss, not, you know, playing like a scaredy cat behind your AD carry. We're going to skip ahead a little bit, because according to my notes, nothing happens until 8 minutes. Again, there's some cases where you're taking just free autos from Vayne. You can be looking for a little bit more control, again, on the bottom side of the lane to take advantage of these brushes. You can leave Jif out into the top side of the lane. Okay, don't fish for Qs. That Q was okay, because Jif would have been able to follow up on it. But Vayne has tumble. She's going to do that every time, except for the one time she doesn't, and she tumbles into her bubble, but she's bronze. I don't like fishing for Qs. It works in bronze, it won't work in silver, and it definitely won't work in gold. And, I mean, you got lucky, this Lux is bad. If I was playing Lux and I saw you wasted your Q like that, I know I've got, like, 12 seconds of free time where she can trade on you fairly aggressively and you can't bubble her back, right? Your bubble is a really good protection against all ins, and it's down right now. Jungle gank is where I know it's come up. So this gank is kind of a notes misses his jump in. Rammus is here to fuck up your AD carry. However, I don't agree with your decision to bubble Rammus. Rammus has no abilities at this point, he's just autoing. So, and a Rammus with 116 AD and 0.7 attack speed isn't very scary. However, who is scary is this Vayne with 150 AD, who just tumbled in and has 0.9 attack speed. She's the one that's going to kill your AD carry. So if you'd bubbled something like, you know what, you probably could have bubbled right there. You would have still picked up the Rammus, or at the very least forced him to move, which at this low elo means he probably loses an auto, and then you would have hit this Vayne, because she tumbled in, right? One joyful thing about playing in bronze is that the AD carries are super predictable. As soon as they get an opportunity like this, they're going to use their mobility spells like tumble, and they're going to tumble in. Or if they're Lucian, they're going to dash in. They're always going to go in. And if you bubble right there, depending on the situation, I've blown flashes doing that. So yes, bubble right there. Jif plays like a god. I think you might have been Jif probably still blows flash if you tumble the Vayne, but you end up with a little bit more health if you bubble the Vayne instead of Rammus. And we're gonna speed up. Again, a bunch of this is stuff I've already said. You should be fighting for brush control. You've sort of fixed your positioning problems. You're not standing behind him quite as much as you were in the early game, but you're still not playing very aggressively, which is justified. This Vayne has BF sword. Oops, I did not want to speed that up. So you're going to queue up here fairly quickly, and this queue I don't agree with at all. Because there's no chance. It hits, but you're gonna. Or you didn't? Oh, no, I just might have snap size. So again, you're sort of fighting for brush control. If you've been fighting for brush control, a lot better. Okay, yes, no, you did. You fished for a Q again. Queuing in this situation isn't unjustified, because when this Lux hits your Q or uses your Q on you, you want to be using your Q on them to sort of either, to turn the trade, because your stun is worth more than her snare, because you guys can still use autos and spells and whatnot while you're snared, they're stunned. However, you shouldn't have been bubbling Lux. Right? Lux has already Q'd you. She has nothing else left to give. I mean, she can E and ult. But, those are all scary, but Vayne's really scary. And Vayne's gonna tumble in. Dollars to donuts, if she hasn't already. We know this, because she's bad. However, so this is the other mistake you made here. You shouldn't have used ebb and flow on yourself. Jif is doing a really good job of 1v2ing the lane right now. And you're out of the fight. Even with you using your W, you have like 200 health. Lux has already used her ult. She still has E, but if you're playing way back here, she's not going to E you. You're playing this really safe. I would use ebb and flow on Jif, who's still in the fight and fighting, because it would have healed him. It would have bounced probably onto the Lux and done some damage to her, rather than just healing yourself and not really doing anything. You also are sitting on E. You should use it. Use it now. The W is fine, but imagine if you'd hit Jif with your first W, he'd be sitting at 100 more health. So instead of sitting at 85, he'd be sitting at 100 and like 200 health. And that just, it makes this trade, you still lose it, but it makes it look less scary. Maybe you could have turned on that Lux, taking the turret auto. Want to repeat. I'm just gonna jump forward to 11 minutes because that's what my notes say that there's the next exciting thing. So if we look at this lane right now, you're really far down. Or you're not really far down, rather. You've come back a little bit. Vayne has Zeal to your Jinx's dagger, which sucks, and Lux has Frostfang to your double fairy charm. However, this isn't anything that you can't overcome with a little bit of skill. You're going to get ganked shortly. And I guess you can start looking for a little bit closer to trades now that you're a little bit closer. In solo queue, Jinx isn't always going to E right there, and Rammus isn't always going to be bad in eat the E, so maybe you want to consider using Q, but that's just for solo Q. You were justified not using Q there. Plus using Q on Rammus is good. So we're gonna move forward a little bit. My notes here get tilted. You want to be trading with your W, not your Q. Or yeah, you should have been... Can we go back to that? You missed a perfect opportunity to get free damage back onto this thing, and because you didn't seem to want to trade using your W, which is your strongest trading ability. So like, look, this position right here, not only is this Vayne autoed, so she can't auto again for a little bit, but she's standing under tower, so if she does auto you, she's gonna take turret aggro and you win the trade. You should be trading onto this Vayne right now. She wants to die. Well, she wants to take free damage, right? That's what she's doing right now. You can't kill her because Jif is standing way behind tower, but because you're way up here, this Vayne should die. Also, on that note, Jif is standing way behind tower because if Rammus is here and they dive you, you're really far forward. But that's because Jif plays at a higher elo than you do. Rammus won't be here, and even if Rammus is here, Rammus is mid, but even if they were to look to dive you in bronze, chances are they die, and you take kills for it, so you're okay playing far up. But as you go up in the elos, you won't be able to play this aggressively under your own tower. Instead, you stand way back, and then again, you're walking up. You should be either looking to trade onto Lux, because she's going to auto you right now, and this Vayne isn't looking to auto you, or you should be standing, maybe a bit closer to over here against your tower, so you can trade onto this Vayne without letting this Lux. And that bubble was just that bubble just wasn't very good. Jif was standing way behind the tower. There's no way he's gonna be able to follow. Don't fish for Qs, especially when your AD carry can follow up on it. There's times to fish for Qs, but when you're losing lane, you need to hold your Q to counter the enemy, rather than trying to use it proactively. Q is so hard to land. I find it much more useful as a counter tool to counter the enemy's engage onto me. So if this Lux Qs me and this Vayne check's not going into me, I can trade off. Again, if you even have Sightstone now. If you had a ward in this brush, this Lux has a lot more trouble doing what you just did. Followed a little bit.
I hate it when this happens.
It's not your fault. We're not going to watch me fuck up, because I'm just going to go and suicide into your laners. Because feeding bot lane is asset. Look at that. Look at that. Why would I go there? So at this point, I would consider putting a ward into this brush right here, because this is a coordinated team. There has to be at least it's like 4 or 5 of them, because we're 4 right now, or 3. But we're 4 or 3. So that there's a good possibility that they try to shut this lane in and dive you. They don't in this case, but I would have seriously considered putting a ward in there. Also, yeah, that's where that problem is. Jif is right. You should have vaulted there or done something. I think my note here is was your keyboard unplugged, because you just sort of didn't do anything. But other than that, it was an unfortunate lane. It just didn't start well. I think you had a bunch of unlucky stuff happen to you. But there's some small improvements you could make. The big ones is you need to be fighting for brush control over this brush. And I think you need to improve your trading with Nami. That auto W auto combo is really brutal. And even if you're not feeling confident enough to put that first auto, when you can always W auto, that's like bronze proof. And it's a really rough trade. We're gonna quit here before I die.
Red team's turret has been.
So yeah, that was the review.